The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 5 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMicWithBigMike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 4 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMicWithBigMike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 3 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMicWithBigMike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 2 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMicWithBigMike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 1 minute. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 30 seconds. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2.
One mic.
I'm back.
It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live,
Ain't no goddamn tape.
interactive, and on demand. One Mic. Yeah, a sports show.
The best move of LeBron's career, man, was dragging his sweaty ball sack right across Draymond Green's the nape of his neck and getting that dude suspended.
And so much more.
What's going on right now with Donald Trump? This is America, and it tickles me to death when white people are so shocked and appalled by it.
What? It's the One Mic with Big Mike show.
Of course, it's like anything, like ammonia or you sniffing glue is gonna get you high.
You've been warned. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts now. Here he is.
He's real cocky, he's real loudmouth, he's real flamboyant. He don't cow down to people.
Big Mike.
Yes, sir. Back here on a Monday, here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. If I'm sounding a little weird right now, it's because I'm using a different mic, man. I had some problems right before the show started with the mic falling off or not staying up on my mic stand. So anyway, man, welcome back from the holidays, man. Hope you guys had a good one. I was off all last week, you know what I'm saying, enjoying myself. Not really, y'all listen to the show. Y'all know I'm not really a holiday guy, but took some time. Welcome the wifey back in town. She's been away helping out the people affected by the hurricane down in Florida. So, welcomed her back. And, now I'm back with you guys, man, here on a Monday. Got a lot to talk about. Got a lot of catching up. Don't forget to tell your friends. The show is available right now, right here on Spreaker.com. Also on the Spreaker app. You can also get me on demand on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And don't forget, I got the Facebook live stream pumping right now. Let me check it real quick to make sure. Yep, it's going on right now on my Facebook page at the number one MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. Also, you guys you can get involved in the show. You can do so by texting me at 404-902-8104, 404-902-8104. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room. Do so by clicking the little thought bubble icon. Clicking the little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. And also, one more way you can do so. Leaving your comments, questions, and your criticisms, all those good things, right below my my streaming video here on Facebook. All right, so as far as today goes, at the bottom of the hour, I got to take a look back, man. We got to do some, we got to do on this day, my feature that I do each and every show that that I'm here for. Leave it up to my man, I Am No Dose, who's in the building. He's in the chat room right now. Told me to keep it real and just say I didn't want to work last week. Nah, it wasn't that. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, the wifey was back in town or whatever, and I told you guys it was coming, man. I warned you. I was going to try to do something on Monday, but I was like, you know what? F it. You know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and for once in my life, you know what I'm saying, do the right thing. I mean, so I did that, and now I'm here, man. It was a short week. It didn't seem like it was that long that I've been gone, but I want to play catch up. I want to do that first, as well as I want to get into what happened at the University of Tennessee. What's going on right now in college football? We've got the first before the last, I guess if you want to call it that way. College football rankings coming up next week, because this weekend coming up is championship week, and a lot of things are going to change tomorrow when these rankings come out. A lot of people are going to be shifted around a little bit. I don't know if there's going to be any real disappointments, because we've been at the place where you win and you secure your spot for the last few weeks now, and not everybody decided they wanted to win. So we'll talk about that. If you ordered your big baller brand sneakers, you should either have them or they should be on the way. I'm anxious to see how that rides out, how that works out, honestly, man. I don't know that I'm necessarily, hoping or wishing or whatever for the worst. I'm just kind of, doing that Big Mike thing, when you're dealing with a car salesman, a used car salesman, and, he's got all these promises being made to people. I just kind of want to see if they're going to pan out. That's kind of where I'm at. If you're wondering what I'm doing, if you're looking at me right now on Facebook, fiddling around with this stuff, I'm literally trying to fix my other microphone as I'm speaking to you. So just bear with me for a little while. We're going to talk some basketball today as well. Of course, we got to talk about what happened yesterday in the Raiders game. So we're going to talk some NFL, not really, I don't really talk like the games and all that kind of stuff. But we will talk about what happened yesterday with Michael Crabtree and Aqib Talib, and like the reaction to it, man. Like some of y'all are just like way too emotionally invested in some of this stuff, and it's weird. Let's keep it. It's weird. Let's see what else I got here. Let's play. Let's start though. Let's start first by playing catch up from what I missed over the last week or so that I wasn't here. I missed out. I didn't get to talk to you guys about Trump versus LeVar Ball. I mentioned it early on, before it even happened. Like as soon as this dude was coming out bragging about, look what I did. I talked to the president, President Ching, what his name was, Ching P, or whatever his name was. I talked to him, and then when the kids got released, I was like, yep, this is going to go either one or two ways. Either the twins, I call them, Trump and LeVar Ball, are going to get together and be like kissing cousins. And you know how y'all do when that happens. Like any black person that takes a picture with Donald Trump, it's immediately like you banned from the rest of the community. Or they was going to do what a lot of times people do when they see a lot of themselves in another person. They reject it. It ain't really necessarily always it's usually what opposites attract, right? Well, in this case, these dudes are exactly the same. It was the latter, not the former, that happened. My man came out with all that, these guys better thank me. First he did that, and then the kids thanked him. The kids said, you know what, thank you to the government and President Trump for what they did. And I told you guys at the very beginning, what I say, I didn't even believe he did that. I didn't believe he did anything. And I read a report the other day that said actually that nothing he did, if he did anything, helped these kids out one bit. All right, hold on. Switch your microphones here. All right, that's much better, I think. What's happening here? Oh, backwards. There I go. Hey, everybody. There I am. All right, now I feel much better. Let's start over now. All right, and the other thing that I wanted to bring up was something that kind of just fell by the wayside a little bit. The race element in all of this. When it came down to, and I don't think it fell by the wayside. Some people brought it up, but others were way too uncomfortable to do it. But when he first started talking about these dudes better be thankful, all I heard in my mind was these N-words better be thankful that I saved their black asses. And they did. The kids were. But LeVar Ball doing his LeVar Ball thing was like, and I hate when things happen like this, because now I get put in a position where I have to kind of agree with this dude. When he was like, I don't know what happened. Like they said he talked to somebody, or they said he did something. He said he did something. But how do I know that? And I was like, yep, he's right. Because this dude is a liar, and I don't believe that anyone should ever believe liars. If you've proven yourself to be a liar, don't expect me to believe you. And the other part of that, too, is it was kind of self-serving, because there's no way that as a president you could be in China and just like ignore the fact that they were American citizens being detained. You can't do that. Other thing I realized too is all black people are the same to Donald Trump. He didn't realize, I don't believe he realized that this guy has 3 sons. Because the threat he made, or the comment that he made about, I could have just left them in jail, and then you wouldn't have that NBA contract to support you. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. He's not the one with the NBA contract. This is the kid that's in college. And I don't think Donald Trump even knows that. Like, he don't even know enough about the kids to even say that he helped them get out of jail. First of all, he said they were in jail. The kids were in a hotel. They were being detained in what was described as a luxury hotel. So, yeah, it wasn't quite jail. It wasn't quite the 10 or 15 years that a lot of people reported or whatnot. It was a little bit less intense than that. But, as the all-important white man in this country, he got to get his credit, right? He got to get his credit on for stuff that he never, in my mind, still never did. What else did I miss? The fact that your man LeVar Ball, finally, he LeVar Balled everything and came for Luke Walton. That was pretty sweet. Like, all that stuff Magic Johnson was talking about that, well, we don't anticipate that happening here. It's like, why? Why would you expect a Tiger to change his stripes? You know, he came at Luke Walton talking about how Luke Walton or they're not coaching his son right. They don't know how to coach his son. Like, come on, B. At some point, your son is just not as good as you pumped him up to be. As I'm gonna assume is gonna be the situation with these sneakers that he's putting out. We'll see though. We'll see. I don't know how many people bought them. He said at the time he had like 500 something orders. This was a while back. So we'll see how people. My man Jovan Buha from ESPN was on social media. I guess he saw like a prototype of the shoe and he said they're real light. They look good or whatever. So he's a sneakerhead too. He's one of those, love sneaker kind of cat. So, we'll see. But I think he also, based on our last conversation, I think he likes LeVar Ball too. He's got a chance to hang out with him and it's some little bit. I think he likes the dude. So, take that for whatever it's worth. Not saying that he wouldn't be honest because of that, but if you like a person, the way you feel about a person sometimes has a tendency to sway what you will and what you won't say about what they're doing and, a product or a business that they're doing or whatnot. So whatever. Trump also, the Orange Beast, came for your man, Marshawn Lynch, because Marshawn Lynch last week, the Patriots and the 49ers played in Mexico. And because Marshawn Lynch is my guy, he sat down, not kneeled, by the way. I'll keep reiterating that point strongly. He sat his ass down for the pledge, for the American anthem or whatever it is, and stood up for the Mexican one. Your man wasn't trying to hear that. He came back on his old Twitter machine. This is why he's the reason Twitter's going to regret the extra characters. You know what I mean? Him and him alone. Yeah, he wanted to try to come at. He's one of those dudes that's impervious to all that stuff you talking about, man. That Donald Trump is talking about. He don't care. He don't care about what none of these cats are talking. He don't care about none of this stuff. These folks talking about winning Super Bowls in Oakland. Like all Marshawn is doing, he's repping for his hood and his folk, man. Like all that, you my teammate. How many like yesterday? We'll talk about it in a little bit. But he came out to escort his man, Aqib Talib, off the football field. The same way he went out there to get his cousin, Marcus Peters, out of a fight. Got suspended for it. To pull his cousin, Marcus Peters, off of a fight with his teammates. He don't care about none of that stuff, man. These folks want to talk about, nah. And good for him, by the way. Good for him for that. He's the realest and trillest dude, period. Probably in the history of the league, who just don't give a damn about none of this stuff y'all talking about. What else did I miss? I mentioned Thanksgiving earlier. I mean, I guess I call it Thanksgiving just for the sense of that's what it's customarily called, but I think it's a bullcrap holiday like most of them. And it's even more bullcrap because it's one of those things that people can justify what they're doing with other excuses, with things about family and, gathering and, this ain't about no genocide. Well, I mean, tell that to the native folks, tell that to them. You ain't got to convince me because on Thanksgiving, cuz, you know what I did? I made a pizza and fried me some wings. Made the whole thing. I didn't get a frozen pizza. I made the dough. I made the sauce, the toppings. Well, I didn't make the toppings, but you get what I'm saying. I made the pizza from scratch, fried me some wings. I had wings and pizza on Thursday. While y'all was stuffing y'all face with chitlins and collard greens and I don't understand why those things are so special for that day. Like why you can't have collard greens in September? Do they taste different? You can't have turkey in February. It's just I hate the idea, the entire idea of the rat race, being trained to do something at a certain time, like a dog. Like Pavlov's dog. That's what it is. Oh, it's the fourth Sunday or fourth Thursday in November. You know what that means? Gorge yourself with pies and cake. Because, of course, you can't do that in October. That's designated for costumes and candy. I don't know. That's just weird. You know what else we find out on Thanksgiving? Something that has been brewing for a minute. And I gave you guys, I apprised you guys of a conversation I had as related to this certain subject a while ago. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, it's quite possible. I think it's more possible than not that Dak Prescott is a 4th round draft pick. He is a 3rd round quarterback or third string quarterback who got an opportunity to play because of injury. And he dropped out of the sky into a very, very ideal situation. But an offensive line that was at one point very, very healthy and intact, making them probably the best in the league. A young running back who understood how to run behind that line very well and is immensely talented. And some okay guys on the outside. The Williams kid is cool. Dez Bryant, every game, like game by game, Dez gets a little worse and worse and worse. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's all him. I think some of it is the guy that I started off mentioning, Dak Prescott. I think it's him. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott, going back to a conversation that I mentioned, if you guys listened to the show, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago when they played Denver. And this guy was trying to tell me that I was wrong about what I was watching, that Dak Prescott was playing quarterback very, very tentatively. He wasn't taking no chances because he has this thing in his mind about turnovers. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about the NFL gives quarterbacks license to take risks. You know what I mean? Like you throw those 50-50 balls, there's a good percentage of the time that they're going to end up, if your guy doesn't catch them, there's going to be a pass interference call or some sort of illegal hands or holding or something's going to be called on that because the DBs, the corners, are a lot of times they're hamstrung. You know what I mean? They're kind of just handcuffed by what they can and cannot do to wide receivers in the secondary. So the league is telling you, we want you to throw the ball more. We want you to throw the ball deep more. Problem is, you don't have a guy like a Brandon Cooks that gets clear separation. You got a guy like Dez Bryant that a lot of times when Dez Bryant catches the ball, right before he catches it, it looks like he's blocking. Like he's being that physical at the point. And you got to Tony Romo was a guy who trusted Dez Bryant. A lot of times just with unadulterated trust. He would just throw him the ball and understand that he was going to make a play. And that's how Dez Bryant, was brought up in the National Football League to play. And that's the way his athletic composition is. He's not going to run by people. He used to be a little bit faster, but now not anymore. A couple of leg injuries in, he's not that fast, but he's playing with a quarterback that don't want to take chances. And those two things are like oil and vinegar. They just don't mix. So you see Dez's production drop way down. That whole thing. Somebody told me the other day, he shouldn't have stopped going to Witten. I was like, yeah, he should have. You can't win no games 8 yards at a time, throwing an 8-yard button hook to your tight end every play. No, that's not this NFL. And without Zeke, Tyron Smith is a little bit hurt. You know what else you figure out? Dak Prescott is not as athletic as a lot of people thought he was. You look at a dude and you see he got brown skin and feel like he can run. He's slow as hell. Dak Prescott is like a 4.7 dude. That's before 2 years in the league. You can think he got faster. I don't think he did. You watch that dude try to get away from cats. These defensive linemen and linebackers that are chasing him, he gets caught. Dak Prescott gets caught. It may be, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting next couple of games without Zeke Elliott. What, they got 2 more games without him, 2 or 3 more games without him? It's gonna be interesting to see because he's saying all the right things that he's got to play better. Of course, you got to play better. The question is, can you? Being who you are, can you? You know, you start talking about everybody wants to witness the next Tom Brady. Tom Brady was lightning, man. Ain't no 6th-round draft picks just coming out the box getting busy like that. But we'll see. Miami lost. Not Miami, not the Dolphins. They lost to a bad Pitt team, man. And a lot of stupid stuff happened in that game. Mark Richt doing Mark Richt things, pulled a starting quarterback that had you at, 7-8-0, undefeated. Pulled him in the 4th quarter when they were down 2 possessions and needed every one of them to try to come back in that ball game. Put the backup quarterback in only to go 3 and out. Wasted a possession to try to prove a point because they put the starting cat back in the next series. I was like, wow. I've been very, very forgiving as it pertains to Mark Richt over his time here in Georgia. You know, people used to want to fire him every single year. I always wanted to be like, all right, y'all jumping the gun. This dude is a good coach, but there's no defense for something like that. None at all. And it happened. Once once you bring out the turnover chain the first time and it becomes a thing, it becomes this national phenomenon. It's 2017. Everyone's waiting. Even people who love the turnover chain, they couldn't wait for you to lose so they can meme it and mock it. And that happened in full force. It happened live too. I think the Pit Cats had an upset chain. That happened. People was photoshopping the turnover chain. Turnover chain, except for it not having a U, it had an L. And I heard something earlier today. Heard something this morning that was earth shattering. And I don't know why I was so surprised, because I said something about this the first time I saw it and got back on this show. And I was like, man, how is the NCAA not coming at these cats? But then people started calling it costume jewelry. Well, apparently an actual jeweler, one of those famous jewelers down there in Miami, made this chain for them. It's a $500,000 chain, allegedly. How is that a thing? How is that a thing? Do they have to give it back? Is it a loan? Is it considered a donation? How do you justify that? These kids are running around on the sideline with a $500,000 chain on, stunting after they get an interception or a fumble. And it's like, what? That's cool. That's we already that. All right, cool. Whatever. Let's run it. Now, I'm not saying it should go away. I love it, but it just seems a little bit like every time I see these little things go down, and people are hollering broke every time you turn around, it's kind of weird. Auburn, right? Auburn just beat Alabama this weekend in the Iron Bowl, giving Alabama their first loss. Auburn still has, I think, 2, but they're going to the SEC championship. They're going to play Georgia this weekend. I bring them up because in the talk of this money kind of doing what it do, their students rushed the football field. They got out there and rushed a couple of idiots, got stuck in the hedges and all kind of stupid stuff. Anyway, it cost Auburn $250,000 for that. And there's no gripe. No one's saying, like, we're going to appeal this. We're not going to pay. They're going to pay it willingly. But still claim broke when it comes to these kids. $250,000. Let's say it's 100 kids on the team. It's probably less than 100, but let's, for a round number, let's say it's 100 kids on the team. That's 25. That's $25,000 a kid a year. That's all right. You 19 years old, $25,000 is cool. And obviously they got it to spare because they about to spend it on the other idiot students doing stuff. I guess, man. You know what I mean? I guess. Nick Saban. Nick Saban said something that a lot of people are going to consider to be crazy. Nick Saban saying that Alabama should still be in. I don't know what y'all think. Y'all think Alabama should still be in? Let's put the scenario out there. Got Ohio State with 2 losses. They're going to play in the Big Ten championship. Say Ohio State beats an undefeated Wisconsin team, right? And becomes the Big Ten champion. Well, you can't then put Wisconsin in because there's all this consternation about their schedule. You put Ohio State in, they got 2 losses. One huge loss. Did they get the brakes beat off of them by Michigan State? You got out there in the Pac-12. USC's going to play somebody for the, Washington State? I haven't looked. I should have looked today, but I didn't. I forgot to. USC could possibly have 2 losses. If Auburn beats Georgia, Auburn will have 2 losses. Where else do we got to go? Down, let's say TCU. I think TCU already has 2. If they beat Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship, Oklahoma, well, they won't be a champion, but TCU will have 2 losses. And then you're sitting there with Alabama at 1 loss. Can you justify keeping Alabama out of the national championship for losing a rivalry game on the road, and they didn't get smashed either? And before you just say no, they shouldn't get in because they didn't play for the championship. First of all, that's not a part of the criteria. Secondly, if you listen to these ESPN commercials all day long, and I think they're doing this on purpose, they're doing this purposely to set all you guys up for an Alabama Final Four, to being in the Final Four without being an SEC championship, because they won the national championship one year without being an SEC champion. They're setting you up for it because they keep playing that clip of Kurt Herbstreit saying, this is not about being fair. This is about getting the best 4 teams. I find it hard to believe, especially if you're going to give Clemson. That's the other team that I mentioned. Clemson could lose to Miami. Clemson could lose to Miami. And then Clemson would be sitting there with 2 losses. One of those losses being to a Syracuse team that people are going to give them credit for because they were without their quarterback. Well, Alabama was hella injured when they lost to Auburn. So initially, Nick Saban says, you know what? I think my team should still be in the national championship picture. We should still be in the Final Four. And initially you say, oh, this just a dude. This dude just being, he's just being Nick Saban. He don't know how to lose. He's not a graceful loser. But if you think about it, like the long stretch, the long way, if you think about it, he probably has a point. If it's about getting the 4 best teams, I do not know that in December, giving these guys a chance to get healthy, that Alabama isn't one of the best 4 teams in the country. I can't definitively just say that, and I'm not rooting for Alabama. I'm just saying, after thinking about it, Nick Saban got a little bit of a point. He does have a bit of a point. 404-902-8104, 404-902-8104 if you guys want to hop on in here. Apparently, I'm broadcasting because I see my man Big L's in the building. I am Nodo's in the building, but it's not really recording. My time is stopped. I just really noticed that. But you guys can hear me, right? Yeah, so Big L saying Alabama's about to pull off Ohio State and make the Final Four playoffs. Yeah, he thinks so too. So I'm not the only crazy person that's thinking this, and I can't find myself in a position where I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a travesty. Nah, it's not going to happen. If you want to join these guys in the chat room, it's easy, man. If you're listening via Spreaker, just click that little thought bubble icon. It'll get you inside the interactive chat room. You can also leave your comments, questions, and concerns or whatnot right below my streaming video here on Facebook. I'm at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. You can get me there on Facebook. My Facebook live stream is pumping, so you can drop your comments and all those good things right below that. Couple of other things that I missed before I break here. I got another minute or so I'm not going to get deeply into it. I'll come back and hit a little bit more of this stuff after we do on this day. Chip Kelly's back. Chip Kelly, actually, I didn't necessarily miss this, but Chip Kelly got hired. Jim Moore got fired at UCLA, and he had his press conference today, and he seems to be right at home out there in the Pac-12. Probably got some revenge that he wants to enact upon some people. You know what I mean? Not necessarily revenge because he didn't get fired from Oregon, but, they had a job opening, and they didn't consider bringing him back. They got my man Willie Taggart back up in that joint. So we'll see what Chip Kelly does with that UCLA squad. Shout out to him too, man. I mean, I think Pac-12 football. He gets to recruit that LA market hard now. He could do it a little bit while he was at Oregon because, of course, USC was on probation, so he can go in there and steal some of those recruits that would have gone to USC. But now he's right there. He's in the mix. He can get some of that fast-ass LA talent. So shout out to him, man. I'm going to take a break. Come back with On This Day. I got a new segment I want to break out to you guys, too. It's called What? That's the name of the segment. See, I'm not a real creative person, but you'll get it when I do it. And I want to make it kind of interactive, too. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live, man, on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, as well as on TuneIn, 404-902-8104 if you want to text the show. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Okay. Yes, sir. Got my mic situation straight. I'm here, man. Monday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show, man. Welcome in. All are being heard right now on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Also on TuneIn. Got my man Big L. Got my man I Am No Those with me. They're in the chat room. If you want to join them in the chat room, it's quite easy. Click that little thought bubble icon you see on your streaming player. If you're listening via Spreaker, it'll get you right up in there. You can also text the show at 404-902-8104. Also, man, make sure you guys are following me. And also like my Facebook page. I'm at One Mic with Big Mike, 1 M-I-C, W-I-T-H-B-I-G-M-I-K-E. What's that song? That's that game. One Blood. Old school game. Bring y'all back to the old school. Not even old school. You know what I mean? It ain't old school. It's like early 2000s. Old school to me is like Marvin Gaye. You know what I mean? And Teddy Pendergrass. The game ain't old school. Anyway, yeah, make sure you guys are following me. Check out the Facebook live stream is going on right now. Facebook.com/1 MICWITHBIGMIK. I'm gonna take a look back here in a second, but I want to go ahead and hit you off with this new segment, this new thing I want to do called What? Kind of an idea. I guess now because I know of it, it's an idea that I bit from what I Am No Those told me about Bomani Jones. So, but whatever. The greatest form of flattery is whatever. Let's take a look back.
Now, let's take a look back.
On this day.
All right. First on this day in a week and something, right? On this day in 1870, the New York Times dubs baseball, quote, the national game. See, that's where it came from. Just one the paper said it, and it just became a thing, like the Big Apple. That's how that whole thing got started. Somebody wrote it in a newspaper, and now for like 100 years, New York has been known as the Big Apple. On this day in 1924, 57,000 people watched a high school football game in Los Angeles, California. On this day in 1961, Gordie Howe, he became the first player to play in 1,000 NHL games. On this day in 1966, in the highest scoring NFL game, the Washington Redskins defeated the New York Giants 72-41. Damn, that's like some not Pac-12, some Big 12 type stuff. And finally, on this day in 1975, Fred Lynn, he became the first rookie to win Most Valuable Player. And I guess it's just understood that he also won the Rookie of the Year. If he was the most valuable player, it just kind of serves the reason. And that is your Monday, first day back, your Cyber Monday. Y'all been taking advantage of the Cyber Monday deals? I think I might check them out a little bit after the show. I'm not like this whole Christmas thing, man. Again, man, it's that whole hamster wheel thing. I'm not really about it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I mess with you, I'm gonna get like my niece, especially. She's a teenager now. I'm not going shopping for no damn teenage girl. I'm gonna give her some bread. And if I have to take her as a part of the gift, and it ain't like my whole deal with her is not even a Christmas gift. Because luckily for me, the stupid holidays, they hit like when the semester's over. So my deal with her is based on what her grades look like, and she's a real good student. She get A's and B's. Based on what her grades are like, I break her off. You know what I'm saying? I give her cash. And then if I have to take her to the mall, to the outlets, or wherever she want to go to spend the money, we'll do it like that. So it kind of works out that way. If she want to call it a Christmas gift, it's cool. But I've made it clear that it's not that. It's just me rewarding you for a job well done, in school or whatnot. Before I get to this new segment and finish up, catching up over the last week of things that I missed, Big L saying the NCAA leveled sanctions against the University of Oregon program over recruiting violations between 2008 and 2011. You no doubt have heard, because the big story from the from the ruling locally was Eagles head coach Chip Kelly is prevented from returning to the Ducks or college football within 18 months, a penalty without first appeal. I remember this. I kind of remember this, but I thought they were minor penalties. I didn't realize that he had some sort of, what do they call it, no-show or show clause. I didn't realize he had one of those. Yeah, so, yeah, he did. Oh, he did the Pete Carroll. The Pete Carroll. Here comes trouble. Let me get to the league as soon as possible. Shout out to them, man. Like, the NCAA is full of this crap. We're going to talk about that, too, man. Like, these coaches that's just, like, jumping ship. Not the ones that's being fired, but the ones that's like jumping ship for what they're considering better opportunities. Meanwhile, the kids who they recruited to go to the schools that they're at are stuck. We'll get into that here in just a second. But first, I want to talk to you guys about this new segment I want to start doing. And it's just called What? You know what I'm saying? Where each week, people say stupid things or stupid things happen during games or whatever. And they make for funny sound. I mean, they just make for funny sound. So I just put together a little intro for it. And every week, I wanted to start doing it on social media as well, where people can just send me. If you heard anything, you get to send me what you heard. Or if you want to send me the audio file, you can email it to One Mike with Big Mike, spell out ONE, One Mike with Big Mike this time, at gmail.com. You send me the audio file, and I'll use it for this segment. So for the first rendition of What? I got 2 clips that I want to play for you guys.
What? Wait, what? What are you saying?
Here's Bill Walton, and I'm sure, I haven't been so sure about anything, too many things in my life as I am, that Bill Walton is high on something. When they let him touch a microphone, there's no doubt in my mind this dude got some peyote in him, some reefer, something. Listen to this dude.
Miles Bridges, who is not, I'm told, related to Lloyd or Bo or Bill, the Bridge School, the Bridge Benefit Concert, the St. John's Bridge, or the Golden Gate Bridge.
There's a foul inside, and it's on Michigan State and Tillman.
I love bridges. It's really the ultimate tool, because it allows you to get someplace you can't get on your own.
There's a lot of bridges here in Portland as well. 12
between the Willamette Falls and the St. John's Bridge on the north, including the Tillicum Bridge, which is the largest, longest non-car bridge in America.
And you rode across it this week, didn't you, Bill?
I rode a bike across it.
Wait a minute. Like, this dude, he's totally ridiculous, right? Speaking of Big L, speaking of white privilege, that Exhibit A, Your Honor, he called 2 Razorback, like basketball, right? Not football, of course, because it was 2 of them. Duh. Yeah, dude. That dude just went on a tangent. And my man, like the play-by-play dude, you see how he just tried to ignore him for a minute, but your man just kept going. So then he felt the need to just indulge. Like, yeah, you've been around a lot of bridges, haven't you, Bill? And then he went on for another 30 seconds. My God. And the second part of What for this week, or for today, we can do this every day, we can do this every show, a guy who I think will probably be making many appearances on this segment.
What? Wait, what? What are you saying?
Cameron Jarius Newton. Please enjoy.
As I always say, I always hear often there was an ugly win, but I never heard of such thing that makes sense, the saying of a pretty loss.
What is he saying? What is he saying? I'll play it again because it's only 10 seconds. What I understand the gist of what he's trying to say, but it's almost like there's like 10 too many words in what he's trying to convey.
As I always say, I always hear often there was an ugly win, but I never heard of such thing that makes sense, the saying of a pretty loss.
My man. Sometimes, dude, you just, what I mean? It's like the kiss method, right? You just keep it simple, stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never heard that there was so many things that a person could say that there was one too many pretty losses. What? My man. Cameron Jarius Newton, pride of the South Side. So yeah, that's going to be a new thing I want to do. I want to do it consistently every show, and I want people to get involved in it. You hear something, let me know about it. You can text me at 404-902-8104. You can also email it to me, ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE at gmail.com. One Mike with Big Mike at gmail.com. And I want to have some fun with it because these cats are like Cam, especially. Cam get away with murder. Like, I'm not the most like eloquent of speakers, but that dude, thank God for football. He's the one who's talking about, I don't have no time to be concerned about concussions or CTE or brain damage. I believe you ought to make time, Holmes. You just probably need to make time to concern yourself with those things, because it's already, like, you already off to a good start in that manner. All right, so where do we leave off at? Chip Kelly being back. The Celtics, their winning streak ended in Miami at 16 games. They started a new one like the next day. That was a hell of a run, man. And what's going on in the NBA is surprising a lot of people, especially on the east side of things. Like John Wall's hurt right now, so they got the opportunity to fall out of the top four with him being gone. Of course, LeBron and them have picked up the pace. I want to talk about this D Rose thing after we examine this whole thing with Ray Allen. Like, this whole Ray Allen thing was going on last week, and I was kind of just ignoring it, and like, you know, because I thought it was like one of those kind of like, you know, things that come up and, you know, it goes away because there's really nothing there, but it's like a crazy thing. But it just kept going, and apparently for years, Ray Allen, the 3-point king, missed the last second shot against the San Antonio Spurs to win the championship for the Heat. Mr. Member of the first Big Three, Mr. Jesus Shuttlesworth, was getting catfished by a dude pretending to be a woman. Or multiple women, I guess is what it was, for years. And the thing has spiraled so out of control, excuse me. These folks out here getting freaking restraining orders. Your man, the gay dude, is saying that he fears that Ray Allen want to kill him. Probably. I mean, that's probably a given. This dude got kids. He's like painted as this, like, you know, this family man. You know what I'm saying? He got like a special needs kid too. So I remember seeing him on like a commercial for that. He was with his baby. Yeah, he's painted as this you know, this one of the guys who's done it right. And meanwhile, you find this dude is like maybe, possibly, allegedly, like dipping out and getting catfished by. I hate laughing at this, but every time that word comes up, I only think about the television show. And if you like me, like, I don't know what time that show comes on, but if football season's about to be over, like college football season's about to be over for a while before bowl season starts, right? So you can be flipping through the channels on Saturday, and you just pass by catfish. And if you like me, the TV stops. And I'll sit there and watch that joint and be like, what the hell is going on? Like, talking to the TV, because it's so amazing to me. Some of the things that people are so desperate to be in relationships, I guess. You can talk to somebody on a computer for 4 years and never see them, much less touch them. That's kind of out of my realm of just thought. I can't conceive that being a thing. So it's funny to me. Like, people be on there crying and getting all emotional. It's like a comedy. I look at it as a comedy, and that's partially because I'm a child. I'm very, very immature when it comes to people's pain. I'm more than willing to laugh at somebody's pain, emotional pain, in those type of situations that you put yourself in. So anyway, this man who was reportedly involved in a potential catfishing incident with a 10-time All-Star, Ray Allen, he thinks the retired guard wants to kill him. See, like Big L, like that's why you my dude, Big L, because like this is the same sensibilities. Like, and that's how they trick you too. Like, you turn the channel and you like, whoa, what catfish on? Next thing you know, they done played 4 episodes and you ain't moved the whole time because like somebody done got catfished by a woman who used to be a man. Like, there was one time this chick told this dude that she used to be a man, but then they met and she was lying and she was actually a woman. And he was disappointed. And the chick was like, wait a minute, are you gay? He's like, nah, I'm not gay. I just thought you was a dude. I'm like, wait, that means you, whatever. I don't know all the rules, but I think that that statement or that feeling of disappointment kind of just makes you gay. I don't know. You may need to kind of get in touch with yourself and understand where you at sexually, because if the chick says, you know what, no, I'm an actual woman, and you like, dang, she doesn't have a penis? Well, if you was looking for the penis, dude, you know, you probably batting for the wrong side of the plate, batting from the wrong side of the plate. So anyway, the man reportedly involved in according to TMZ, a Florida judge granted Coleman, his name is Brian Coleman, his petition for a temporary restraining order. Coleman alleged Allen spied on him multiple times. Come on, Ray. I know Ray ain't hiding in the bushes, shawty. No, Ray ain't hiding in the bushes. Like from across the street with some infrared goggles, you know what I'm saying, trying to see what this gay catfish lover is doing. Come on, Ray. All this is alleged, by the way. But anyway, that Allen spied on him multiple times and also called him and said he hoped to, quote, ensure that I went away and never opened my mouth again, end quote. Of course, Ray Allen, he came back, him and his lawyer, they called Coleman a deranged individual, quote unquote. I hope this is over, man. Because you know what? You know what's not sad about this, though? The fact that, like I mentioned earlier, man, he got a wifey, man. He got babies, man. He got kids and stuff, man. And, like, that ain't cool for them. You know what I'm saying? It's like you guys have heard me talk. I'm all about, like, the gay movement and gay rights and all that kind of stuff. If that's your move, I'm all about that. You know what I'm saying? But, like, the whole, like, what they call it, the download thing, that ain't cool. That ain't cool, man. That ain't fair, man. You taking away somebody's right to choose. Not, you know what I'm saying? And I guess it's societal because, you know, it's not really accepted, especially in the black community. It's not really, you know, it's not really that thing to be doing. But dang, B, how your wife gonna handle? How she supposed to handle that? I mean, like, how she supposed to deal with that, dude? Like, all this time, and now you got babies by her, and she got babies by you, and you like the penis, or maybe it's one of those bisexual. I don't know. I'm delving into a range of things that I have no idea about, and it's liable to have me saying some crazy stuff. So, hope this works out for Ray, or maybe not, or maybe I don't hope so. I don't care. That's probably a better way to put it. I just don't care. Derrick Rose. I want to talk about him for a second too. How much time I got here, because my clock is not ticking. We got about 10 minutes left in this segment, so I got plenty of time. Derrick Rose. Former MVP. What was Derrick Rose MVP like 7 years ago? 6-7 years ago? Best player in the league, youngest player to become an NBA MVP. Before tearing his knee up. You know, in a mean I don't know if people forget, but he was in a meaningless game. The game was well in hand, and he was still in the game. Tom Thibodeau still had him in the game, and he came to a jump stop, tore his knee up pretty bad. And since then, he hasn't been the same. He's been often injured. He's actually injured right now. And he's away from his current team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. He spent last year with the New York Knicks. He's with the Cavs this year. What he described as a resurgence. He felt like he was going to take this 1 year, $2 million deal. You know what I'm saying? And parlay it, because of the way he felt like he was going to be able to play this year, parlay it into, you know, a bigger deal and get himself back onto that upper echelon of basketball players. Well, it hadn't really been that way. You know, he still kind of, he had a decent season for what people would consider to be a decent player, but not for the standards of an MVP, of a former MVP. So the rumor is that he's contemplating retire. He's contemplating retirement. See, I just did a Cam Newton. He's contemplating retirement. And there's a lot of things involved in this. This is not just a matter of, let me move on to the second phase of my life, or let me do something else, or I'm straight on the money. On the money front, I mean, he's probably straight, but the other part of him being straight is that he is going to leave $80 million on the table of his Adidas contract if he is to retire. Now, Adidas is probably like cheering for the retirement, because let's keep it real. Who's buying Derrick Rose sneakers, man? They probably got them joints like with those little plastic things tied together at Ross somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like in the bargain bin. Word up. They probably got the Derrick Roses like on that situation at Marshall's or something. So if you Adidas, it's kind of like dead money. You probably cheering for this dude to retire. You might even consider, I don't know if shoe companies do this, like doing a buyout with him. Like, okay, we'll give you like $20 million if you walk away right now. You know what I'm saying? We'll sweeten it for you. But here's the other thing that don't need to happen because of everything that's happened previously. The memes and the jokes about Derrick Rose's injuries and him being made out of glass and, him being Mr. Glass and all those type of things. Don't feel sorry for Derrick Rose now. Don't do that thing. You know how the internet has this propensity to kind of like the temperature to change on it at the drop of a dime. Don't do that. If you was the dudes that was joking and I'm not saying you was wrong for doing it, because it's whatever. Your jokes didn't make the dude's ankle twist or his hamstring go out or his eye socket break. Like none of those things were caused by you joking about it. But I'm just saying, don't try to be the good guy now. Don't try to be on the high road or good girl now. Keep it up. You know what I mean? Like if you was gonna be a bad guy or bad girl when it was cool to do it now when everybody's feeling, oh man, I feel so sorry for Derrick. No one understands the mental strain that he's under or whatever. Okay, whatever. You know what's happening right now? Derrick Rose is a rich guy having regular guy problems. That's all that's happening. He'll be all right. You know what I mean? He should be. You know what I mean? And part of the reason that the things that I mentioned aren't really in the works where it's like, I'll move on to the second phase of my my life, open up a new chapter. All Derrick Rose is a basketball player. I've heard people like my man, he lives in Chicago. He does radio in Chicago. He describes Derrick Rose as a basketball machine, like a basketball robot. And he has always been that. So there is no other thing. It's not Derrick Rose going to be on ESPN or in the book. Have you ever heard Derrick Rose talk? He's not going to be doing any of those things. Derrick Rose is a basketball player, which makes it harder for him to even contemplate. Which I think, I haven't talked to the dude, of course. I think makes it harder for him to contemplate transitioning from this thing that he's done all his life. I heard Ramona Shelburne kind of break it down in a different way, saying this is the thing, this thing, or maybe it'd been Rachel Nichols, one of the two, talking about how he was able to provide for his family, get his family out of a different situation, going from being hungry to being able to have anything you want based on his ability to play basketball and based on his body being able to do things freakishly. Like Derrick Rose before the injury was he was the way we talk about Russ Westbrook right now. I would venture to say we had those type of feelings plus some with Derrick Rose, because Derrick Rose, man, like Russ he's fierce. Like Derrick was springy. Like Derrick got off the ground so easily and so high, and because he's not a tall player, it looks so much more poetic and beautiful. And then there was the knee injury, and that explosion was gone. He was already a guy who didn't have much of a jump shot to speak of. He had that line drive jump shot. So he was a dude that needed to get to the rim to make his hay. And we've seen this before, right? We've seen this before. Guys who don't know how not to be great. You understand what I'm saying? Like you either have to be the ish or it's nothing at all. You don't know how to be a role player. Think Vince Young. Think Vince Young when he got to the Titans and things went good at first. Vince made a Pro Bowl as like a 50th alternate, but he still went to the Pro Bowl that first year, right? Won Rookie of the Year. And then things went south on him. He was a casualty of Jeff Fisher in a lot of ways. But I still remember Vince making this comment when everybody thought Vince had ran away to kill himself, that he had never been booed before and he didn't know how to handle it. Guys like Tiger Woods. Apparently Tiger Woods came back the other day at a Donald Trump event or something like that. But in Tiger Woods' mind, as many times as we've seen him start tournaments and be sucking at the beginning and just leave like, oh, my ankle hurt, my back, because something's wrong, I can't finish the tournament. That's a dude who we've seen push through. We've seen him win tournaments on one leg. So when it was within his grasp, he could fight through pain. But a guy who doesn't understand how not to be great, how just to be one of the regular guys who could win this week or could just not even make the cut this week. That's how most golfers that are not named, I don't know, Rory or what's the other kid's name? Jordan Spieth, and guys like that. Most guys are like, they make a little bit of money doing golf. Not a little bit of money. They make pretty good money doing golf. But very few are the Tiger Woodses of the world, the Jordan Spieths of the world, with all the sponsorships and all the big money, winning and being in contention every week. Tiger Woods don't know how to be that person. Ronda Rousey. She got her ass kicked that first time. It's like her soul got taken. Like I don't know how many people watch like women's UFC, especially like the Ronda Rousey fights. I watched them because it wasn't just watching a woman fight. This woman was crazy dominant. It was absurd how dominant she was. And then this chick came out there and just like put hands and feet on her. And before you knew it, everything was a wash. It was time to go. Somebody who's been great for so long, they don't know how not to be. They don't know how to fight from the bottom up, and that's Derrick Rose, I think, right now. He's in a position right now where he doesn't understand what it is to be just a regular guy. For people who are a little bit older, if you can remember Ron I was about to call him Ron Howard. Ron Harper. Ron Harper was a cold two guard. Like, he was probably in his day the second best two guard to a dude named Michael Jeffrey Jordan. A couple of knee injuries, and Ron Harper became the Ron Harper that probably many people remember, kind of the journeyman championship winning point guard. He was a point guard by the end of it for Phil Jackson with those Bulls teams, with those Lakers teams. Got plenty of rings, made plenty of money, but he was able to transfer his thinking, his thoughts from me being the guy, Hollywood Ron Harper, being this cold assassin of a player, guy who could play decent defense against Michael Jordan, to being a guy who had to just settle for being a role player. Not many people do that. At least not when they're still in their prime age wise. Of course, you got guys like Dwayne Wade who started off as the Slash, but now Dwayne Wade you may be able to say that sometimes he's trash. One, because his game never evolved. What I talked about with Derrick Rose earlier, his game just never evolved. The game of basketball did. It became about 3-point shooting and layups. All that in the post, turnaround, jump shots, pump faking, and all that kind of stuff. That's the Kobe era. Kobe did that. And by the end of the Kobe era, it became the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, James Harden, Kevin Durant, dudes that could shoot that basketball from deep. Dwayne Wade's still trying to play a different game. And I think, for what it's worth, Derrick Rose, at least, Dwayne Wade kind of has the body and the strength to kind of do some of those things still. Derrick Rose don't have that. He had a way of playing basketball. And that way kind of depended on him being that physical specimen. Much like we're all in awe of Russell Westbrook. Eventually it'll happen to him. You know what I'm saying? Eventually it'll happen to him. Like, that style of play, it can't last. That flame burns too hot to last as long from an emotional standpoint, from an energy standpoint, from an athleticism standpoint. It just can't sustain the test of time. Let's take a break. Top of the hour here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. I want to come back and I'll get into this NCAA talk. I want to talk about these coaching moves. I also want to talk about something I saw while I was going in this. I don't know how many people have gotten a chance to watch UCF and South Florida, Scott Frost and Charlie Strong's squads. There's some real stuff going on. I want to talk a little bit about the Heisman as well. So we'll do that next. It is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, you guys can check me out on Facebook. My Facebook live stream is going right now at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE. Text the show anytime at 404-902-8104, 404-902-8104, excuse me. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room. Just click the little thought bubble icon. If you're listening via Spreaker, it'll get you right up in there. And, of course, you can always drop me messages here on social media via Facebook or Twitter and Instagram. It's all the same handle at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE.
Well, I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic. ready?
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys. Did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
One mic.
I'm back. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live.
Ain't no goddamn tape.
Interactive and on demand. One Mic. Yeah, a sports show.
The best move of LeBron's career, man, was dragging his sweaty ball sack right across Draymond Green's the nape of his neck and getting that dude suspended.
And so much more.
What's going on right now with Donald Trump? This is America, and it tickles me to death when white people are so shocked and appalled by it.
What? It's the One Mic with Big Mike show.
Of course, it's like anything, like ammonia or you sniffing glue is gonna get you high.
You've been warned. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts now. Here he is.
He's real cocky. He's real loudmouth. He's real flamboyant. He don't cow down to people.
Big Mike.
Yes, sir. Hour number 2 here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Welcome in. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Monday here on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, and on TuneIn. Don't forget, all 3 of those platforms have the show on demand every day, all day, 24/7. You can also get it on demand on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And, of course, the Facebook live stream is constantly up on my Facebook page at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. And I was just thinking about, you guys are such idiots. Like, I get so much response when I'm not even talking about, like, anything that's worthwhile. Like, start talking about Catfish, the TV show. Here comes Big L. Yeah, man. Hell yeah, that damn Catfish. Also, man, shout out to the homie Keith Wright checking in here on Facebook. What up, homie? Yeah, it's just weird. You guys are weird. But, you know, I guess I am. No, I don't guess I am. I know I am, too. So I guess we're just like all like some freaking peas in a pod here. Okay, I said I was going to come back. You know what I was just thinking, though? Going forward, I think I'm going to do the little what segment. I'm going to do it here at the top of the hour. I'm not going to just mix it in with on this day. I'm going to kind of switch it up. Even if I have a guest or whatever at 8 o'clock or whatever, I'm just going to drop it on the guest. Whatever. It's my show. I can do what the hell I want to. Shout out to my homie, man. Shout out to my homie, Corey Chamberlain. He's the assistant head coach for the Toronto Argonauts. They won the Grey Cup. I think this is his 3rd Grey Cup. He's won 1 as a head coach and 2 now as an assistant coach. He may have even won 1 as a player. I'm not sure. But, like, yeah, my dog got rings, man. My former my teammate in college now coaching up there above the border, beyond the border, whatever it's called, man. And, man, I watched that game. It was on ESPN2 yesterday. I watched some of it, man, because it was so damn cold. Like, it was so cold, I could feel how cold it was up there, B. Yeah, I'm good, man. Shout out to him, man. I mean, apparently he's getting compensated well. And, you know, he loves football. So, all those things combined. Shout out to my homie, man. Also, shout out to my other homie, Josh, man. Just had his 4th baby yesterday. Or was it today? This morning. Had my baby girl either this morning or last night. I got the text this morning, so he got 4. He said he's shutting down shop, but they said that after 3, so we'll see. Got 3 girls and a little boy. So shout out to him and his wife, Erica, man, just having another bringing another life into this world. What did I say I was going to talk? Oh, these coaching moves in the NCAA. So I've already mentioned Chip Kelly going to UCLA. Jim Mora is out here looking for a job now. Dan Mullins has left the University of Florida, who has been turned down by Scott Frost of UCF and Chip Kelly, of course, who's now at UCLA. Speaking of UCF, real quick, man, I don't know if any of y'all saw, I don't know if it was Friday, UCF and Yeah, Central Florida and South Florida, the Bulls, right? The kid that plays quarterback for South Florida, he's a senior, and they had senior day that day, and he had to come out alone. It was tremendously sad, the reason why. Like, everyone in his family, dude, was like, it was like, what's that show, that movie, Final Destination? Like, his dad died in a drive-by. I think his brother did too. His brother was helping out some kids or playing ball with some kids in the park. He got killed. His mom died when he was young of cancer. Like, everybody in his family is gone. Like, died in these real horrendous ways. To the point my man was at senior day by himself. Like, Charlie Strong was his family member. His head coach was his family member, basically. I was like, golly, that's wow. You know what I mean? Like, when people start talking about like human beings and how strong we were able to be, like, this dude, God, and he's good. I don't know if y'all watch this game. And what you know about Florida and the athletes that they produce in Florida, it's like all the athletes who couldn't go to Florida or Florida State or Miami went to these two schools and they still had enough. It was just fast. Like, the game just looked fast everywhere. And they got that kid threw for like, I don't know if he threw 500 or he had like 500 total yards, but yeah, he was out there balling. I had his name written down because I knew I was going to forget it. And now I don't know where I put it at. I don't know where I typed the kid's name down, but now I don't see where it is. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, though, man. Yeah, the kid is like, yeah, my guys in my chat room were saying, yeah, he balled out. He's good, yeah. And I don't think a lot of people, including me, because I even tweeted this when the game came on. I was like, I've heard all year long, I've heard about South Florida. I heard about Central Florida. Of course, Central Florida is still undefeated, which is going to do what? It's going to bring the conversation that we have every year about expanding the playoffs. The playoffs should be more than 4 teams, because teams like UCF feel like they can compete. They're undefeated, you know. Like, I don't know. I don't know what all they're in. What the American Conference, the AAC or whatever they're in. You gotta play big boy football. I mean, life ain't fair. You gotta play big boy football, and even one of the big boys is gonna get left out. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, they got crazy talent down there, man. One kid from where? UCF, the cornerback, who's also the defensive player of the year last year, got one hand. Yeah, run that, dude. He got one hand and he got an interception this year. So, yeah, eat that. You put that in your mouth and chew it up and swallow it. Yeah, one hand, and this dude is the defensive player of the year. It just make you look at yourself and like, what am I doing with my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, one dude, his whole family is dead. One dude playing cornerback and good. He's good at cornerback. Great, we might say. Ain't got but one hand. It's like anytime you sit down and you want to make an excuse about something, just kind of just think about those two kids, just those two. You know, there's a lot of other people who are probably dealing with also some worse things. They're playing big time college football with some ailments and some tragedy in life. But you know, if you want to just keep it on the surface, just think about those two kids and then continue on with your life. So anyway, Big L reminded me, who is it? Bielema? Bielema was a kid at, no, he's a corner. He's a corner. It's crazy now. It's even crazy. I didn't know those thought he played linebacker. Now he's a freaking corner. Eat that, dude. Just taste it and savor it. Yeah, I guess Bielema was the guy from Arkansas, right? He got canned too. So another SEC job opening. Kevin Sumlin, he's going. They're thinking Jimbo Fisher might show up there. Might leave Florida State to go mess around with Nick Saban. Like, Nick Saban, he's just there to get people fired. That's what Nick Saban is going to do. He's going to get people fired. Every time you turn around, some cat's going to get fired because they messing around and trying to compete in the SEC West. If you smart, what you do is you try to find one of them SEC East teams. That's what your man did. That's what Mullins did. Like, I'll go to the East, recruit in Florida, get me a quarterback. I'll be good. I'll be good to go. That quarterback they got down there, he might be all right with a little bit of experience. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Flowers is his last name. The kid that plays for USF. I knew I put it here somewhere. Yeah, he got like one of those black names too, like Trayvon or something like that. Yeah, Flowers. Yeah, man. Like when kids start talking about football is all I got. Yeah, it's kind of true for him. It's kind of not hyperbole. It's like the real deal. Like football is pretty much what he's got. They say he's not an NFL talent, but he might be one of those guys, a Denard Robinson type guy, because he's such a good athlete. The NFL don't necessarily turn their backs on no athletes. So if he can play, there's a chance they can find a place for him. You know what I'm saying? He'll get to the combine, he'll run, lift, and all those things, and impress people in the interviews. And his story, like ESPN is gonna eat that story up. You best believe. On draft night, both nights they're gonna have cameras around this kid. Yeah, man, they're gonna profile him and all that kind of stuff. Cause that's for the people who don't know about this, because apparently Big L didn't know about it. Big L's like, damn, yeah, dude, everyone died. Not even no. It ain't even like, he had his brothers. All his brothers was gangbangers. No, not like that. His brother was in the park, like helping some kids and like volunteering his time and playing ball with some kids, and just got bucked. Same with his pops, I think. Some craziness, man. No, I am no those. I just got through saying that. You talking about Jimbo Fisher needs to go to LSU? Like, the one thing you don't want to do is take a step out of the ACC where you can win that. You can win the ACC. Your quarterback doesn't get hurt. They gotta do something with that line in Florida State, because that's how they got this kid Francois killed. But there's enough talent in the state, even though, of course, South Florida, Lane Kiffin down in FAU doing things, Central Florida, like the talent is being spread a little bit more thin than it was in the 90s and the 80s. So you got to do a little bit more out-of-state recruiting. You got to take your ass to Georgia and take your ass to Texas and some of these other places to get players now, especially offensive linemen. You have to go a little bit further up north to get you some offensive linemen. But the thing you don't want to do if you're Jimbo Fisher, you don't want to go have to mess around with Nick Saban every year. You don't want to do that. Now, it's not a matter of Nick Saban winning the championship every year. It's the matter of when is the AD saying that somebody's got to take me to that place. Now, I know those are saying LSU is a better job than Texas A&M. Well, I would say if you look at it this way, all things being equal, they're both in the SEC West, right? But if you go to LSU, the expectations are bound to get you. Expectations ain't that high at Texas A&M. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get to a good bowl game, get to a New Year's bowl game, you compete every year. It's cool. That was the problem with Kevin Sumlin is he was losing games that people felt like he shouldn't have lost. Like that game at the beginning of the year when that kid for UCLA. Now that we figured out that UCLA wasn't that good, they just fired their damn coach. They weren't even that good, and they were able to come back from 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and beat Texas A&M. Like stuff like that got Kevin Sumlin fired. The expectation ain't for them to beat Alabama. You know what the expectations is at LSU for Orgeron and them boys and the Mad Hatter? Yeah, you better beat Nick Saban. You better bring some damn national championships up in this joint. That's why if you're Jimbo and you're gonna leave for Texas A&M, I could see it. I don't think I personally would, but I would say this though. Remember, I told you guys a couple of weeks ago that Jimbo Fisher was about to put hands on some dude in the crowd that was hollering crazy stuff at him, and he told the dude to bring his ass down here so he could whoop his ass. That kind of stuff don't make somebody want to, like, you having a bad season. Everybody know you having a bad season. Your quarterback's hurt. You're not really competing this season. People want to be, if you have a choice, you want to be where you want it. And if Jimbo Fisher is not wanted in Florida State anymore, why not leave and go somewhere where you could probably get a pay raise as well? For your troubles, go get a pay raise and lowered expectations. Before you're eventually fired, because that's how that story ends. In the SEC West, eventually you need to leave on your own or you will be fired, as long as Nick Saban's there. Then there's this. Greg Schiano, still a defensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. The reason he's still the defensive coordinator at the Ohio State Buckeyes, or for the Ohio State Buckeyes, is because he was essentially in spirit hired to be the next head coach at the University of Tennessee. They fired Butch Jones maybe a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago maybe. And they decided they were going to bring in Greg Schiano. Now, they didn't do what most of these big-time schools do. They didn't hire what is it called? A headhunting firm to go out and vet the head coaches and kind of like test the waters for the coaches. They just felt like they was going to bring this dude, Greg Schiano, in and like let it be what it was. Okay. The first thing that came to my mind, like when Butch Jones was about to be fired a couple of weeks ago when he got his ass kicked by by Georgia so bad, I was like, okay, this seems like a perfect opportunity for T. Martin to finally get his spot, to get his shot. He been out there at SC. T. Martin has survived, 3 head coaching changes out at SC. He was there for Lane Kiffin. He was there for drunk ass Sarkisian, and he's out there now. 3 head coaches, same offensive coordinator. That tells you something, because most people want to come in there and bring their own person in. But for whatever reason, T. Martin, as far as yesterday, when Greg Schiano was going to be the coach, T. Martin wasn't considered. Now, Albert Haynesworth, everybody know Fat Albert, infamous Tennessee Titan, went to the Redskins and they asked him to change positions. He pitched a fit, and him and Shanahan didn't get along, so people started talking about Al stole money. He tried to reinvigorate his career with the Patriots, him and Ocho Cinco. You remember that? That didn't work out either, and then he kind of just faded away. Okay. Albert Haynesworth, here's what he said to TMZ. I don't think it's necessarily racism, but I think it's more like placism. Come on, dude. Stop. This ain't Any Given Sunday, B. Just say what it is. Because he goes on to say, quote, they don't think a black candidate can lead UT. Or maybe they just don't want a black candidate leading UT. Bruh, that's racism. That's racism. Just call it what it is. I know it's your alma mater and all those things, but whatever, dude. They can be rednecks and hillbillies, and racism is racist as well. You know, the last time they saw a national championship, you know who's the quarterback? Yeah, his name wasn't Peyton Manning. It's black ass T. Martin. Yeah, that's who the quarterback was last time they won a national championship. The last time anybody even thought really about Tennessee football, T. Martin was the quarterback. But he's still out there, you know. And for those of you who are counting, in the Power 5 conferences, there are 5 now. 5 bruhs. All these Negroes running around the football field. Only 5 on the sideline being head coaches now that Kevin Sumlin's gone. And Willie Taggart's brand new. And that's even counting Lovie Smith at Illinois. If you want to call Illinois a Power 5 team, you go right ahead and do that. But so if you look deeper into the numbers, they're kind of lesser than what I'm explaining to you. So right now, though, 5 is what you're looking at. 5. And T. Martin just kind of out there blowing in the wind. For whatever reason. Big L saying T. Martin is the truth. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But what I do know is you look around the NFL. T. Martin's 39 years old. The Rams got a 31-year-old head coach. The kid in Buffalo, the dude in Buffalo that's doing all this stuff with Tyrod and Nathan Peterman, he's like 34, 35, I think, right? They don't have no problems putting these white boys in crazy high positions. When Lane Kiffin got hired by the Raiders, what was he, 34? And T. Martin can't get a punk-ass Tennessee job? Come on. I ain't saying it's racism, but it damn sure might be placism. Or whatever the hell that means. Yeah, dudes be trying to be too damn clever, man, with they smartness or dumbness in actuality. So anyway, I ain't even get into how the story ended with Greg Schiano. So when the story broke that Greg Schiano was going to become the next head coach of the Volunteers, apparently a sector of the fan base, you know, everything seems bigger because it's on social media, but exactly. Then, God, I'll get back to this because Big L brings up a point that I wanted to bring up. The NFL does have more black head coaches. You want to know why? Because the NFL has this thing called the Rooney Rule. Now, while the Rooney Rule has over time become a little bastardized and people have found ways to kind of skirt it as well, right, the brother does have to know his place. So there's that. And T. Martin's place must be in California forever, you know. But no, getting back to like there being more black head coaches in the NFL because more black coaches have an opportunity to be in front of the bosses when interview time comes up. You know, probably the most famous story of the Rooney Rule is Mike Tomlin. What was Mike Tomlin? He's a DB coach, right? in Minnesota. He wasn't even a coordinator. He was their quote unquote token interview in Pittsburgh after after Bill Cowher retired. Homie went up into the interview and killed it, blew these cats away to the point where they're like, we got to hire this dude. Here we are over a decade probably later. He's still up there doing big things, man. You know, they win games every year. They're in the conversation every year, man. They don't win the championship. They're not in the Super Bowl every year. They're not the Patriots, but they're in the conversation every year. And I think in the NFL, that's all you can ask for. Show up at the dance, be in the playoffs, and you got a chance to go on a run. But college doesn't have that mechanism. If you guys remember my guest, oh man, Dr. Golly, what was his name? I'm so terrible with names. I can't remember his name now that I want to. His dad actually was the head coach of the Celtics, I think, or the Knicks. The head coach of the Knicks when he signed the very first black basketball player in the NBA. God, what is his name? That's going to kill me, man. I can't remember his name. But anyway, remember I talked to him about this whole situation. They actually grade these different organizations on their hiring practices, because last year I talked to him about Willie Taggart being the first black head coach in Oregon football history. But he also made mention that a Rooney Rule type situation is needed for college basketball, because it makes no sense. 70-something% of the players on the football field are black. And yet we got 5 in the big time college football, the 5 power conferences. You got 1 black dude per conference. you talk about like quotas. My gosh. So anyway, where was I? Oh, the thing with Schiano, the way he got out before he even got in, grand opening, grand closing. So a couple of the hillbillies up there in Tennessee, they didn't want Greg Schiano. They got their mouth. And they got their mindset that for some reason they feel like John Gruden. Every year, people feel like John Gruden, who is, surprise everybody, he's the highest paid employee at ESPN for doing Monday Night Football and and Gruden's quarterback camp and those things. He's the highest paid employee there. People think he's gonna leave that cushy gig to go recruit and go beg children to come play for him. Come on, all he does every year, man, is use the fact that, okay, I might leave and go do this to get another pay raise. It's genius. It's good work if you can get it, especially if you're his agent, because you keep getting 3% of the new deal every time, or whatever it is now. It used to be 3%. Maybe it's more. Every time you get a new deal, you get broke off. But the people in Tennessee seem to think that John Gruden was going to come be their coach, and they definitely didn't want Greg Schiano. So the thing that they did, which was kind of like, it's college football weird. It's what you do. They tied him into the Jerry Sandusky situation, because he was on Jerry Sandusky's staff, and there was like this third-party comment made about him that he knew Sandusky was raping these boys. Now, he said he didn't. And it was never proven that he knew or that he saw anything. But because it was said by somebody to somebody to somebody else, it was like literally third party. The people in Tennessee used that and used it as though not only was he an enabler of it, that he was a child molester himself. And as of today, the University of Tennessee rescinded the offer, and they sent his ass packing back to Ohio State. And more so than just that. That's a badass precedence to set, man. Fans are idiots, and college football fans are the leading group of idiots. They should not get a say in what you do, because you know what? I believe, and I ask you guys if you think the same thing. If Greg Schiano's name was Nick Saban, and he had the same type of relationship with a Jerry Sandusky, the same type of rumor was surrounding him, you think those people in Tennessee would give a damn? No. You know how I know? Because Bobby Petrino is back at Louisville for the second time. If there's one dude who has proven himself that you can't trust nothing about him when it comes to his professional come-ups, it's Bobby Petrino. But you know what people want more than an honest guy, or more than a forthright guy? They want a guy that can win. That's what they want. So the reality is, it's about Greg Schiano not being a very good coach, but that wasn't going to be enough. in this climate that we're in now, where everything's about molestation and sexual harassment and these type of things and sexual assaults, you start bringing up any link between anybody and some child molestation, watch how fast the people, the suits, the higher ups, watch how fast they can run. So now here we are. So the question then becomes, if you're the University of Tennessee, how you find a coach now? Because if that's the precedent that's set, where the fans get to run this thing, that there's supposed to be people in the know, people who have, as they said, they vetted Schiano thoroughly. If these people can be overridden by a bunch of drunk ass college students or some grown ass men that are in message boards, I don't even know, like, they still have message boards apparently because people still talk about them. If those people can override a decision that the actual people who get paid to make the decision have made, who you gonna get to go there and coach? Like, if I'm T. Martin now, I don't care if that's my alma mater, because the first time things start going south, you're gonna start listening to these idiots, and not only run me out of town, but now they've attached something to this guy Greg Schiano's name, who for most people, they say he's a pretty decent dude. He might not be a very good coach, but those things are apparently they're separate. You know what I mean? Those things are separate. Being a good person and a good coach don't necessarily go hand in hand. But now you attach this thing to his name, and now this dude's saying that y'all owe him some money because essentially he got fired. He's saying paperwork was signed and I was the coach. So now you fired me. You owe me some buyout money. I can't even say I'm mad at him. Like, this is white losing. This is what I categorize as white losing. The man didn't work one day, but but he's expecting cash money. But this case, I think it's well worth it, because I don't know how now Greg Schiano's even gonna get another job. You know what I'm saying? If this is the way they think people are gonna react, why would somebody even try to, trot him back out there? It's weird. I've even heard the name Lane Kiffin come up. You know what I mean? This is like going back to what I said about Bobby Petrino. People think this Lane Kiffin thing is crazy. The people want to win, and Lane Kiffin can win, because I still don't understand to this day. I don't understand what Lane Kiffin's transgressions are. He stood up to Nick Saban. Well, where is Nick Saban at? What does that offense look like now without Lane Kiffin? Did you see it the other night? It has no imagination in it at all. He stood up to Al Davis. Said Al Davis should have drafted Megatron, not the fat kid out of LSU. He was right about that. What has Lane Kiffin done that was so egregious and wrong? Like I said, Bobby Petrino, he came back home. Yeah, I didn't know those. You're absolutely right, dude. I think I tweeted that the other day. I put it on Facebook. No one cares about child molestation. You know what they care about? They care about how their reaction to it will be judged. And some people don't even care about that. I.e. your president. He don't care about none of that. And the people around him don't either. They're like, well, we got to get this other vote to pass this badass tax deal. But he molested little girls, though. The lady described it very, very vividly, down to his tighty whities. And that's still a dude that you want to bang with. Sweet. Oh, yeah. Look, Big L's in Arkansas. He's talking about how the Razorback folks, they wanted Bobby Petrino back. They didn't want him fired. I remember seeing those interviews on television. They was like, what's the big deal? We don't care. Yeah, because that dude can coach football. At the college level, he can coach football. I want to take a break, come back and wrap up all this college football stuff, and then we got to get into the NFL, right? We got to talk about what happened yesterday. We got Monday Night Football going on right now. I'm not afraid of losing anybody to this game. The Texans and the Ravens. Yeah, enjoy this pile of crap. So I'll come back. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show here live on Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, streaming live video on Facebook at the number one MIC, WITHBIG, MIKE every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Time starts now. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat? Where can you find the answers to these questions?
Car crashes are one of the leading killers of U.S. children. Many of those deaths could be prevented by making sure that kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. Welcome back. Last segment here on a Monday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. You know what I was just thinking about? Well, not thinking about. Have you guys seen this Netflix movie called Mudbound? Mary J. Blige is in it. I can't think of that white dude's name, but he's been in like hella movies. The kid that played Eazy-E in the Straight Outta Compton joint, he's in it as well. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all like this old brother told me. This old brother that was sweeping up in the movie theater when me and my old lady went and saw 12 Years a Slave, and we was looking for the right theater. He was like, "It's right there, brother." But I'm gonna tell you, you about to be mad as hell. Yeah, dude. This movie, man, Mudbound. I checked it out on Friday. Yeah, you check it out on Netflix. It's gonna f you up pretty bad. It's pretty effed up, and it's not to give away the movie, but it just won't give away the movie. But it's part of the reason why anytime somebody talks to me about, like patriotism and pride in the country, and I'm always like, F this country. Yeah, this movie definitely illuminates why I feel that way, and why a lot of black people feel that way, man, about this country, man, because of the things that were done to, the brothers in the past who served this country proudly, went overseas and fought for this country only to come back home and get treated like less than dirt. You know what I'm saying? And that's only a small part of the dynamic of the movie. It's a well done movie though, man. I definitely recommend it. It's called Mudbound. It's on Netflix. I think it's pretty new on Netflix, as a matter of fact, too. I had to force myself to watch Netflix because I pay for it every month. But like during football season, I'm all into that. Now basketball season's rocking. Like I have to like take time out, especially like if the old lady's not here. Like I usually just sit down and watch movies with her, and if she ain't here, I'm watching sports. So, yeah, the Mudbound situation was crazy, man. It's like crazy. Your man from Breaking Bad, the dude that played Mike in Breaking Bad, and also in Better Call Saul. Oh yeah, he's in there. He's dropping some strong N-words too, boy. Like some naturally sounding ones. It was disappointing. I was disappointed in my man Mike, man. No, I'm lying. Not lying about the N-word stuff, about my disappointment. A couple of things. You know what? I'm glad you said that, Big L, because I've been trying to ask people about this, man. Like this Hulu situation. Like I get the free trial. You get the 30-day Hulu trial or whatever, and then you can cancel it. But my problem is, like I just mentioned, I don't even hardly watch the Netflix. I don't have time to sit down and watch the Netflix. I don't want to waste my trial. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to like sign up for the Hulu situation, because I had like Amazon Prime for a while, and that was kind of lit. Amazon Prime's kind of lit too, as far as their movies and their shows and stuff. And I wanted to check out Hulu because I think also Hulu is cheaper now because Netflix about to go up another $1 to like $11.99 or whatever. I think Hulu is cheaper, but again, I don't want to get the 30-day trial and then be like, dang, the trial about to be over, and I ain't watching not now one time. That's a waste. So I got to pick out some time. Maybe I'll do it. I'll definitely probably try to do it after football season and check Hulu out and then maybe make the switch, but some other people gonna have to make the switch with me because you know how we do with them Netflix passwords. We get the most out of them. Just to say it that way. So yesterday, NFL was jumping off yesterday, and I made a couple of observations. One being that if I were to at this point, based on what I've seen, if I was to watch a Final Four, especially in the NFC. I think I'd be most satisfied watching the Saints, the Vikings, the Rams, and the Eagles. Like those 4 teams, I feel like they would have my attention. They would be able to entertain me thoroughly, especially when there's only one game on, right? It's the playoffs. It's the final 4 teams, the semifinals or whatever. Those 4 teams right now look like the best teams, for my entertainment buck. You know what I'm saying? We saw the Saints and the Rams yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And that was pretty cool. The Eagles out there having a lot of fun. The Vikings, they're cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not your dad's Vikings. The Adrian Peterson led Vikings, they're pretty cool squad. The way they play defense, the way they throw the ball down the football field with Thielen and the other kid, and can't think of his damn name. The other wide receiver, they're okay. They're all right. The Falcons, people like, Falcons fan. Well, what about us? I don't know who us is. I don't know what your jersey number is, but if you're talking about the Falcons, I still don't trust them. Like even yesterday, like before I got up to do something, I was like, man, they about to let the sorry ass Buccaneers come back on them. This is a sorry ass team in the Buccaneers, so I can't really vibe with that. And people ask me about the Panthers. Nah, son, I'm good. That's ugly football. You heard Cam Newton. If you didn't, here he is.
As I always say, I always hear often there was an ugly win, but I never heard of such thing that makes sense, the saying of a pretty loss.
The last part is the best. I never heard of such thing as when somebody said and they was playing around and then they played that song by Lil Yachty, a pretty win. Wait, what? What all that? That had nothing to do with nothing. Anyway, yeah, I can't watch that. Not for the only game of the year. They played the Jets yesterday, and the Jets, if it wasn't for a fumble recovery touchdown and then a punt return touchdown, or what is it, kickoff or a punt, whichever one, special teams touchdown. Yeah, that game was a lot closer. Cam threw for under 50%. He threw for 100 or something yards. I'm good. And then the other observation I had yesterday was the AFC is pretty much trash. They are the Eastern Conference. Like they are the equivalent to basketball's Eastern Conference. And maybe worse because, okay, you kind of got, I guess it's me who I trust more. Look, I'm about to tell you, Big L, because I'm about to talk about this, right? I'm leading right into this. You read my mind, B. The AFC has pretty much got the Steelers, which, again, the Steelers had Brett Hundley looking like a gold jacket wearing quarterback yesterday. Now, I didn't watch that game. I wasn't going to do that to myself. But, yeah, I saw the highlights. I saw the stats as well. They had to win by a field goal at the end. So while I'm going to sit here and say the AFC has the Steelers and the Patriots, it's kind of more like they got the Patriots. Meanwhile, the NFC, as you just heard me read off, there's some teams there that's ready to rock. And Big L is asking me, who do I trust? You're right, who do I truth more? I'm going to assume that means who do I trust more? I trust the Falcons more. And the reason being is the quarterback position. Like Alex Smith was that was somebody disguised as Alex Smith for those first couple games when everybody was like, my God, where has this guy been? Look at the explosiveness in this offense. Alex Smith is throwing the ball downfield. And then you had the last 6 games. First half of the season, awesome. This current half that he's in now, yeah, it's pretty much what Alex Smith is. I heard Brian Clark talk about him kind of just regressing to the mean. Like he is what he is at this point. And Andy Reid, for whatever reason, is going to ride it out with this dude. He's not going to go to the kid Pat Mahomes. I don't know if that's just because he's not ready or if he's just mad at least for this season, he's just dedicated, and he's got all his eggs in the Alex Smith basket. Alex Smith, of course, is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He's going to be looking for some money at the end of the year. And the way the year started off, where your man was on some, people was talking about MVP talk. No one's ever won an MVP in the first 4 weeks of the season. But people was talking that nonsense about Alex Smith. And with that, if that had maintained, Alex Smith was going to be in line for some big money from somebody. Maybe not the Chiefs, but some big money. Now, yeah, Alex Smith is, he's going to get some Kaepernick money when Kaepernick was getting NFL money. You know what happened? I haven't mentioned Kaepernick all this show. There's really no Kaepernick news right now. But just as a frame of reference, that's probably what Alex Smith is going to be looking at now. Now Big L's doing that N-word stuff. He's got to up the ante. Who do I trust more on the road? It depends. Like, where are the Falcons on the road at? Are they outdoors on the road? Are they in another dome team? Are they on the road in Detroit? On the road with the Saints? The Falcons show out on some turf. You know what I'm saying? On the road, not so much. Even playing against teams like the Jets or against the Bears earlier this year, they don't look good on the road, especially in the elements. I'm gonna say the same thing about the Chiefs, though. So I'm gonna still say the Falcons, because if I had to go with the thing that's gonna get you by on the road, mainly it's usually, especially late in the season, you start talking about running game, defense. Both teams, they don't play, mind-boggling defense. This kid Kareem Hunt, this kid went to Toledo. They don't play this long a season in Toledo. The season is about to be over. If he's in Toledo, the season's about to be over. Plus, of course, he wasn't slated to be the starter, so he played a lot during the preseason as well. There is that thing called a rookie wall, and it's not just an imagination type thing. It's a real deal. Meanwhile, the Falcons, they got, when Devontae Freeman is healthy, they got 2, possibly 3 decent running backs behind Matt Ryan. And then there's that guy number 11. There ain't too many better than him when he's doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? You saw it yesterday. 200 something plus yards. It's a real thing. You know what I mean? Before I move on, you know what I forgot to mention? I did forget to mention it. I'm about to do something different. If anybody's listening to this show and you got an idea for a podcast, you want to do a podcast, maybe like an hour a week podcast, I'm about to start, or I've started, I'm in the process of starting the One Mic Podcasting Network, where you guys can be a part of a network of things that I do. I can put you guys on the Spreaker page, set you up on iTunes and SoundCloud and those type of things. I'll post your pre-recorded podcast. I'll be the only live one in the network, and you guys can pre-record, edit them how you see fit, and we'll work it out like that. There'll be a nominal fee, very small nominal fee, something like $11 or something like that, to cover all the work that I'm gonna need to be doing on your behalf. But if you got something that you want to say, you want your voice heard, you get the benefit of the people who listen to this show, the people who follow me on social media, because of course I'll post your stuff on my social media as well. If you want more information, just email me. Email me at onemic with Big Mike at gmail.com. Spell out one, ONEWITH. Excuse me, ONEMICWITHBIGMIKE. All right. Now, the other thing, before I get to the Crabtree stuff, I'm building up to it. This whole Tyrod Taylor thing, I was having a conversation about this yesterday. Tyrod Taylor went out and beat the Chiefs, the same Chiefs team that I'm talking about yesterday, on the road. They were at home. And Tyrod Taylor stepped back in for Nathan Peterman, that sinking ship that hit the bottom of the ocean so fast, and won him a football game. Apparently his coach is still not sold on him being their starter. And the more I talked about this with people, I came to the realization, I think I alluded to it a little bit last week, or week before last, that Tyrod and his agent pretty much did this to himself, or did this to themselves in the deals that they signed. Tyrod was on the deal before this season that he just signed last season. He signed a 5-year extension last season that sounded good. It was like $80-something million or whatever, but it was one of those bullcrap NFL contracts that turned out to be a year-to-year deal. So at the end of the year, When they reevaluated everything and Tyrod got hurt late in the season, they terminated the contract. And instead of Tyrod going out and figuring out what his worth was on the free agency market, he just re-signed pretty much the same bad deal with the team again, which would also be a 6-year extension. A 6-year extension, which again was just a year-to-year deal, which means at the end of this year, they can just cut him again and be done with the whole situation. The problem was they felt like they were going to lose more games than they've lost so far, in which they'd be able to get a higher draft pick and probably get one of these quarterbacks, the kid from Missouri or the kid from USC or the kid from UCLA. It didn't work out that way. And then when they tried to put Peterman in the tank, you can't put that dude in and throw 5 interceptions in 1/2 in tank. You can't do it that way. He has to show at least some promise so that the fan base ain't like in the internet ain't just killing your coach. This is why they had to go back to Tyrod, because that whole situation, it blew up in his face. So now they got to just go back and say, all right, however these chips land, if the Bills end up in the playoffs, they just do, and you end up with like one of those middle of the first round picks, it just happens. You just don't have a quarterback. You don't have you don't have a high prospect quarterback like that. All right. Finally, here on the Monday episode of the One Mike with Big Mike show. I didn't think it was going to take me this long to get here, but yesterday, during that Oakland and Denver game, it was Chain Snatch Part 2 between Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree. And like the fight, or if you want to call it that, it is what it is. But people made such a big deal out of it. And I'm like thinking, like, you know me, I'm going to find like a racial element in it. And it's not hard to find one in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it such a big deal just because it's not hockey or not NASCAR? I saw something on NASCAR the other day, probably about 2 weeks ago. A fan found his way down to the pit and was coming after one of the drivers. Like a dude who was watching the sport was trying to get into it with one of the drivers. Had to be pulled back. Baseball. Oh, it's just a part of the game. They throw baseball at people for doing their job better. Just you hit a home run and you don't just take off running immediately. The next time I got to hit you with the ball. But now these dudes who are out there for 3 hours every Sunday, Thursday, and Monday, giving each other brain damage. I heard Dan Le Batard, I don't want to steal this, I'm going to give credit. Dan Le Batard this morning was like, you know, that violence is okay with you, but this violence isn't. You got to, you feel like you're in a position where you can just choose your violence. And if we keep it real, it wasn't that much violence. It was some punches thrown, but whatever. Whatever, you know, it is what it is. I found the whole thing like totally funny. I thought it was like Aqib Talib is a funny ass dude to me. If you just Google certain things about him and his family, his family story, you'll cry laughing. Like his family it's like a Medea type family, but in real life with Big Mama, everybody got pistols, man, and will shoot each other. Big Mama shooting the uncle. You know what I mean? Remember the story when he was in Tampa Bay when he caught that gun charge because apparently he was shooting at somebody. When all the facts came out, it was actually his mama chasing his sister's boyfriend down the street because she found out that the dude was hitting on her daughter, and his mama was chasing this dude down the street shooting at him, and it was Aqib chasing after his mama to take the gun away from her. Like, that's the type of life they on. You know what I mean? So that's that stuff that Michael Crabtree was out on that football field. Like, people want to call Aqib Talib like he's the P word, he's soft. That's just because you don't know. Let me tell you who Aqib Talib is, as described by a lot of his teammates and former teammates. Like, when people start getting asked, like, who's the dude that you don't want to mess with in the locker room? They don't never pick the big dudes. It's him. Because you know who he is? Think about your childhood. If you grew up like I grew up, there was this small dude, had a little voice, but always was fighting. And could fight good, too. That's who that dude is. He don't care about none of that stuff y'all talking about. Like, he don't care about none of that. Right. Right. Crabtree do need to hide this chain like Debo come. I'm just going to tuck mine in. Nah, dude, you need to take it off. Because last year, you want to go to my Facebook page. I posted the video of Aqib Talib in the locker room last season when he did it. This is 2 seasons in a row. And they asked him why he did it. And while most dudes in the NFL would say something like, oh, it was an accident, I wasn't trying to grab his chain, he was like, no, I saw the dude wearing the chain, and I told him, if I see you wearing this chain, I'm gonna snatch it. And I saw him wearing the chain, so I just snatched it. And I think like the interview that I have cuts off, but I think he went on, or maybe he was somewhere else talking about it. He was like, yeah, you out here trying to be pretty. We out here trying to play football. And so, yeah, he just ran up on him and said, yeah, give me that. Yeah, it's real out here in the field, man. And this whole notion, and I'm going to beat this drum again real quick, because somebody came at me with this craziness today. Apparently, Aqib Talib has a Little League football organization, kind of like what Snoop Dogg has. He has a Little League. He was like, oh, he got to be a better example for them kids. I was like, wrong. Like, if Aqib Talib having a football fight, that's not even a real fight, with Michael Crabtree, if your kid is disappointed in him for that, you're a bad parent. I'll say it. I'll keep on saying that. If you keep allowing these football players and basketball players to raise your kids, stop lying to your children. Let them understand that these people are human beings, which means they are flawed like the rest of us. So if somebody gets arrested for fighting dogs or doing cocaine or drunk driving, your kid shouldn't be any more disappointed, because Aqib Talib don't keep the lights on in your crib. Like, if his daddy get arrested for that, he need to be upset then. Or if his mama get arrested for something like that, that's when your kid need to be upset. Not because Michael Vick goes to jail for fighting dogs. Michael Vick should only do one thing for your kid: be a football player. Because your kid don't know Mike Vick. So I was trying to explain to this dude that, yeah, adults need to stop lying to kids. Stop lying to your children about the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and all that kind of stuff. Those acceptable lies that people tell kids. And adults running up on other grown men, on other adults to get autographs. Stop setting those examples for your kids. Because I know in my house, as much as I love Michael Jordan could have turned into a serial killer. I wouldn't have cared. The same way when Kobe Bryant got in trouble for that stuff in Colorado, I didn't care. Like, the law was going to figure that out for everybody. Is Kobe Bryant going to be able to play basketball? Okay, cool. Because that's all I need Kobe Bryant for. I don't need Kobe Bryant to be a good husband. I don't need Kobe Bryant to be a taxpayer. I don't need him to be a voter or a political activist. Just play ball. Now, if Kobe Bryant decides to be those things, like LeBron, he promotes himself as the husband and the dad and the political person. Like, that's fine if you want to. But that whole thing where people start expecting things out of people because they play a sport real good, you're an idiot. And if that's what you expect your kids to live up to, or you expect those people to be an example for your kids, you're wrong. They shouldn't be. They out there to get paid and do their job. And if something was to jump off like it did with this Crabtree situation, your kid should find it funny that these two grown men are out here acting like this. It should just be funny. The whole notion that a kid will see Aqib Talib snatch Michael Crabtree's chain and then go out on the football field as a Little League cat or whatever, or as a high school cat and do the same thing, that's not Aqib Talib's fault. That's his parents' fault. Yeah, his parents are jerks. If your kid don't see Aqib Talib do that and be like, man, that's messed up, you're a bad parent. Point blank. Very, very simply. You're a bad parent. You're a terrible parent, as a matter of fact. Hell out of here. The whole thing to me is absolutely hilarious. I love every bit of it. All the way down to Marshawn Lynch escorting my man off the court, off the football field. It's like, I'm not coming over here to jump on this dude. This is my guy. I'm just trying to make sure that none of these other dudes try to jump on him no more. Marshawn, baby. Beast mode. And then the other thing that happened in that game, Amari Cooper got himself a fresh pair of those concussion arms, the ones that are all stiff and everything when you get knocked out on the football field. And people are like, this needs to be looked at as a big hit. No. Amari Cooper knocked himself out, and apparently he sprung his ankle at the same time. If you watch the play, your man is trying to hit him with a shoulder, chest level. This crazy-ass boy ducks his head all the way down to where now homeboy is now at your shoulder, his shoulder is at Amari Cooper's head level. Amari Cooper knocked his own self out. But it won't be looked at that way. Somebody probably trying to take this dude's money. I don't even know who the safety was, but they're probably trying to take his money. And at no point be rational in the situation where like he can't adjust when the other dude is cowering down and absorbing the hit with his head. Ridiculous. Couple of things out in the NBA. One thing that I missed, well, I didn't get a chance to talk about how the Thunder, they dug into the Warriors the other night, man. That was an ass kicking, but you can tell what it was too. It's like one of those situations where one team is actually playing their NBA finals. They're playing their game 7. And for the Warriors, it was a regular season game. You know, they was out there clapping and laughing and talking crazy to Russ, those cats. Because Russ was like, they was way hype. You know, I think they beat them by like 20-something points. Which, you know, for the NBA, it's a good thing because it makes it look like there's going to be competition. And hopefully so. There's going to be competition in these NBA playoffs, which I'm all about. The problem with the Warriors, with the Thunder is, though, they have this thing, this streak of 0-9 in games decided by 8 points or fewer. That's kind of every playoff game when you get down to it, especially when you get down to the semifinals and the finals. These games are close. There are a lot more. There are a lot less possessions in the basketball game, so they're gonna have to clean that up. You can't rely on the type of emotion that they relied on for a 7-game series, especially when a team like the Golden State Warriors execute the way they know how to execute. It's gonna be tough. And finally, last thing, and I'm gonna get up out of here. Your man, you ain't gonna rook us. Your man David Fizdale, he got the axe today, man. He pulled one of those Popovich moves. You know what I mean? One of those things you do. Those things you do when you feel like you got some job security. Yeah, he totally misread that. I ain't trying to laugh at the dude. He totally misread the situation. In trying to prove a point, I guess the other night, Friday maybe, Saturday, he sat his whole starting lineup because they weren't playing well. Well, the problem with that is, statistically, the bench is terrible. the Memphis bench is terrible. So basically, you just turned a bad situation into a more terrible situation. And the stars of your team, Mark Gasol and Mike Conley, they weren't really pleased with your man Fizz, man. And based on that, I guess the owners were like, you know what, F it, fired. And they quick to fire a coach in Memphis for whatever reason, man. But it happened to that dude, David Fizdale. But you know what's good about him, though? I've seen him do TV. Especially after the press conference, the famous "they ain't gonna rook us" or "you ain't gonna rook us" press conference. He did some TV, man. He did well. You know, he was a very engaging cat. Somebody that I would listen to. So possibly, you know, there's a future for him at ESPN somewhere. They'll give him a look, and then, you know, he can find his way back, you know, into the coaching ranks. You know, maybe, you know how they do the bros. You got to start back over as an assistant and things like that. So, you know, maybe that's in his future, man. But yeah, you got to know the room you playing in, B. You know what I'm saying? Like your guy. And look, Big L, I'm trying to get out of here. You talk about Avery Johnson and boys. Apparently, there was a fight between the Bama basketball team and the Minnesota basketball team. And I didn't even know this was possible. Like, I thought you just had to, like, forfeit or something if you ain't have 5 players to play. Apparently, that's not the case. So I learned something. You can actually play 3 on 5. They lost by 6. I thought they lost by 5. Well, 5-6, no big deal. They lost by 3 buckets. Playing 3 on 5. And when I saw the highlights, I was like, yeah, the Alabama kids was all about that life, too. Them cats was coming out on the court every time. Jack it up every time. They didn't care. You know, that's the beauty of youth and ignorance. Like, you do that to like a pro team, everybody leaving. You do that to a bunch of kids, they like, bet. That means more shots from me. That's the only thing these kids think about. Yeah, buddy, I'm about to start putting up shots immediately. Cross half court, I don't give a damn. It ain't but 3 of us. Ain't like we gonna get the rebound anyway. Yeah, shout out to them, man. Shout out to Avery Johnson, man. The Admiral. What was Avery Johnson's name? Oh man, David Robinson was the Admiral, and the General, the little General. Shout out to the little General down in Alabama, man, making news. All right, man, that's gonna do it. Big L, I am No Dose. Golly. Keith, homie on Facebook, you guys. Everybody who checked in, everybody who listens on demand, appreciate you guys. I'll come back Wednesday on demand. Come back Wednesday for Hump Day, excuse me. We'll talk some fantasy football. Figure out what the hell else is going on with the college football rankings. Get ready for championship Saturday, as a matter of fact. Yeah, football season, college football season is winding down, coming to an end, man. The regular season, that is. And we'll figure out some other stuff to talk about as well, man. Some other crazy, wacky stuff. And like I said, man, if you guys got any what's, holler at me, man. Email me at one Mike with Big Mike, spell out ONE, because you can't use numbers on Facebook or on Gmail for whatever reason. One Mike with Big Mike at gmail.com. You can tweet me, inbox me, or whatever. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE. Don't forget, the show is available on demand, man, for you and yours. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a damn friend about the One Mike with Big Mike show. Spreaker.com. Download that Spreaker app. If you got the TuneIn app, if you got iTunes on your Apple device, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or Google Play Music, or YouTube, of course, you can catch me there, man. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care. Enjoy this bad football game. And I'll see you guys in a couple days.